Have you seen The Dead Milkman?
I'm from Philly.
Yes.
The answer is yes, many a times. Have you?
Oh, no, I never
Oh,
did.
wow. We've seen them some unique places, like even in a graveyard.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, they're a staple here, so I've seen them a bunch.
Man, so
How
they're still
active
going.
how active are they right now?
They still play a couple shows a year, it seems here. I don't know how
Oh,
much they tour though.
They played Detroit last year. They did a
Did
free
they?
show. Yeah.
Hmm. So yeah,
I
I
think
have
AJ
definitely
and I
seen
covered The Thinnest Line. Like we would just sing it, the two of us, around the quad when we were about freshmen.
Oh wow, do you have it recorded?
Oh no,
Oh
no, that
darn.
was just kind of strumming away at school kind of thing.
Right.
So you could probably do it for us right now, like an exclusive.
Mm,
We're all about
uh,
exclusives today. We'll go live if you
yeah. I'm sure it's in there somewhere, but
want.
it's been like a solid decade since we were in high school, so
Fair.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
At
same,
least.
same.
Me too.
yeah.
Me too.
It's Christmas Day in Gay Paris, not so gay for gay Lindsay. 16 hours in a sweaty kitchen for money makes minimum wage look good. 6 a.m. on the subway, stop station through the doorway. Crowds of people standing, yelling, screaming. What's going on? Oh no, I must be dreaming. And the city forgets they didn't even perceive. And the trains keep blowing up week after week. Bundles travel wide and far, back from the USSR. Went there to pursue a life of calling. You found only numb toes and helpless longing. Now you're back at home today, back in the old USA. Scoop up handfuls of your native dust and cross the country in a Greyhound bus. Another failed attempt. There's no use trying to pretend. Now you're right back where you started again. I saw what's wrong, I didn't see how. I saw we're all grown up now. Today's your 20th birthday. Alone you walk the banks of Maine as time runs out to write the second verse of the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. While you're gone, we'll be here still, just beyond those distant hills. Could be that you got the upper hand. You left this rustic never land. Am I breathing in strips? I feel the walls closing in. Could it be that finally we're all shedding some skin?
So you're listening to Ska Talk with Ska Gazine. My name is Jess. I am here with my co-host. Both of their names are Eric. We're looking for nicknames for one of them. If you guys want to vote on one, feel free, because Eric A just joined our team and we already had an Eric. So think about that as we do this episode. Maybe you'll have some suggestions.
We'll name Eric A.
Yeah.
Something other than like good Scott Angles. Scott Angel.
Skangles.
I don't know. There's like, we're gonna work on it. We had
Laura Skangles Wilder. No, no.
we had a Zach already when Zach Olson joined, so he became Ollie. That one came instantly. We'll get this, Eric. We'll get you.
So you're thinking about the end of the episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be Eric
Take
again.
a little vote.
All right.
So we're here with the band Slow Gherkin, who we just had the pleasure of seeing and meeting at Supernova International Ska Fest on one of their couple reunion shows this year. And that was such a pleasure. So thanks, guys. And thanks for agreeing to come onto the show.
Yeah,
Glad
it's hard
We're
to
putting you on the
say.
spot.
Like, it's hard to say when we're meeting at the after hours party at whatever 1 o'clock. Like if this was a real thing,
Oh,
except
was
that
happening.
Eric Scott Angel was right there. So you know, we kind of like, he's legit. He already traveled from the West Coast to be there. So we're like, there's got to be some credence to this, but it's happening. We're here.
We had to let him join the team after that because we're like, you got Slow Gherkin, you're on the team now.
That's a good get. Did we book this interview at the Viceroy or whatever that place was called?
Vanguard.
Vanguard.
You were
Yeah.
close. I like Viceroy.
Wow. I remember so little from that
We
stage.
did
of
not
the
book it that
game.
night, but we did talk about it. And you were like, I will do the interview. I think it was you, maybe, if you promise not to do research.
That
And I was
sounds like more of
"Yeah."
a Peter thing.
Maybe it was Peter. I don't know. I mean, we all had a bunch to drink that night. So we
Yeah.
said we weren't going to do any research. We were just going to hang out.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
That's
that.
what we're doing now.
And
So-
I think that sort of encapsulates, just hanging out. That kind of made me make the connection between you guys and Ska Gazine. It was only moments before when I was literally cruising through the venue, looking for Jess. I had actually met Jess earlier that day for the first time. So I was going through, trying to look for her and just conversate, and that's when AJ grabs me, and I'm like, oh hey, I'm suddenly hanging with Slow Gherkin, and I'm just going to sit here and do this for the next, I think it was probably 30 minutes before I eventually headed outside to meet Jess, or to see Jess for probably the second time. So in the mode of hanging out, I decided, hey, why not introduce Slow Gherkin to my new friend Jess here, and the rest is history.
Your
Yeah,
new old friend. We've been talking for a long time. We just didn't meet in person.
So
Right.
Ska Angel Eric, here's what you don't know about him. We told him he couldn't be on our team if he did not get an interview with you guys. So this is how this all happened. We're like,
He
prove
made
it.
it happen.
Get Slow Gherkin. So
The low bar.
you did well.
And Eric,
Yeah.
when you say AJ grabbed you, I just want to clarify that was gently and with consent.
Oh, yeah, I totally understand. Just grabbing my attention, saying, "Hey."
I know
Well,
that
I
guy.
think I was just more surprised that I just turned and then there's pretty much all of Slow Gherkin looked at me. I'm like, oh, hi, hi guys.
Well,
Who was the last ska band that you guys were hanging out with for the
that night?
podcast? No, no.
Oh, we did a live with actually Tim, the guy who runs Supernova, and
Oh, nice.
Jeff
Super nice guy.
Davidson and Jamie Egan from Catch 22.
Oh.
So we
They
just
were
did
great.
it last week. It was fun.
Yes, they were.
Good.
Yeah, good people.
Yeah,
But
they
before
were
that,
great
I
at
think
that.
it was who was before that, Fishbone?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man.
So
Nice.
we've
So rad.
had
Angela
the
is a
pleasure
fun
of doing some good
conversation.
ones. It was a real fun conversation. Angela's a riot. And we had Spacey T on too, and he was great too.
We just pretty much had to shut up and let them talk for an hour and
Exactly.
a half to each
I-
other, and we're
I
like,
actually
"This is
muted
gold."
Angelo at some point. I'm like, I just muted Angelo more on my podcast. It's kind of
Wow.
Good flex. I would
Man.
say he's a literal riot. I was DJing once in New York right around this time of year because it was a zombie crawl where you got like drink specials if you came into a bar in the Lower East Side dressed as a zombie. So there were all these drunk ass zombies crashing around. And suddenly, this guy in a sharp suit and hat just comes barreling through this narrow, crowded bar, knocking zombies over left and right. It was like, what the fuck? And it was Angelo who was doing like, I don't know if it was Dr. Mad Vibe or something else, but some solo thing where it was just him and tracks and it just sounded like several songs playing at the same time and he was up there doing his thing so intense and so good. And then I got to hang out with him a little bit at the end of the night. He even asked me to play one of his songs. He like plugged in his phone to the sound system and we played like some unreleased Angelo at Arlene Grocery. It was,
Oh wow.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
amazing.
sweet.
Yeah.
I didn't know you
Not many
DJ.
people can barrel through a bar full of drunk people and not get jumped, but people were just so confused and dazzled. It's like fair play.
So why don't you all take a second to just tell everyone who you are and what you do in the band?
Okay, I'm Achilles. I mostly do trombone and sarcasm. That's about it.
You gonna popcorn it over to someone?
Oh, is that way? AJ, we'll just go down the line on my screen.
Oh, nice. AJ Marquez, guitar, and I sing on some songs. Let's see. I don't have other people on my screen. I'm gonna go to Phil Boutel.
I'll try to not overuse this, but hello, my name is Phil Blutel. I'll stop there. Anyway, I play alto sax and do some backing vocals. And yep, go ahead, James.
And I'm James, and I sing and play guitar.
And that is all of you for now. How many are in the band though, for real? Sorry, like 7,
8 or 9.
8 or 9?
Could be 10,
Yeah.
depending.
Couple of honorary
And-
members.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, are they all like, I don't want to say permanent members because you're just like regrouping here, but
If we count
they all-
Matt, if we count Matt and we count both bass players, we're up to 10, right?
wow.
Right. Yeah.
How many were on stage at Supernova? 10?
There
That
were
was
9.
9?
including our friend Brian, who had never played with us before the
Hmm.
Santa Cruz show in August, but Brian, who played in most of the bands at Supernova, seemingly, and went from Buck-09, ran across the stage to our stage, and then played another set with us. So he's amazing.
Yeah.
We had
I can't understand how somebody could play a brass instrument and play like rock for an hour and then go play rock for an hour.
Yeah,
Like I could never do that. It's pretty amazing.
yeah. Beast.
hmm
I didn't even
And
realize we
that's,
had like the California block there. We had 3 California bands in a row, didn't we?
I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
realize that until after the fact.
I just
and
realized that
feel
right now.
it was such a gift to have that triumvirate,
Yeah.
and we definitely look up to both Buck-09 and Voodoo. Had played with Buck-09 at one of those Asian Man anniversary things, but that was our first time with Voodoo.
Was it really? That's weird to think about. I mean, I was sure that we've played with Voodoo, but it could have been in a context of like another sort of festival where we're like separated by a
Oh.
day or something, or just
Yeah,
a number
maybe.
of hours. But
I
but
played with them
yeah,
in other bands,
Hmm.
not Gherkin.
Yeah, they were so rad.
it
So
was weird. We were talking about this today, or actually yesterday. Was that yesterday, Phil? We just drove up to go see the Jeff Rosenstock tour.
It was
Came through Oakland. Was
Saturday,
that?
Saturday night.
And today is Monday.
Like,
Yeah.
I always have to go back to the Edna's Goldfish when I figure out what day it is, right? Because I'm
But
weekend.
you know, so the transition at Supernova from reggae all stars and mellow vibe to kind of like ska punk, and you know, like we're talking California ska punk. I was just like, I hope this goes okay. This is going to be kind of a right turn, you know. This is going to be like a bit of a change, and it just was so organic. You know, the crowd was just like, yeah, we're all for it, and that was rad and unexpected. You know, they just shifted right into it, put their you know, high heel skankers on and went for it. It was rad. I mean, Bucko Nine is great at getting a crowd going like that, but yeah, that was really cool to see. And also, you know, it's just, I think that is the feel of the festival, right? It's like we don't, you know, we love ska. We're not genre specific. We don't care, you know.
Yeah. So you had never played Supernova before, but have any of you ever been there before? As an
No.
attendant?
No.
No? Okay.
I honestly never heard of it until we were asked to
Oh,
play.
Really?
Yeah,
Eric,
and
it's
we
time for you to jump in here.
I'm out of the
we
loop. Yeah.
we got the Tim reached out and said, you know, it was kind of last minute because I think there was sort of a second wave of scrambling, trying to find people to come backfill because of international passports were, you know, being hard to get. And he said, "Do you guys want to play this festival?" And you know, we kind of the instant around the horn went, and it was like, well, I think we can do this, but should we do this? And so we texted our buddy Dan Pottis and said, like, do you know anything about this Supernova Ska Festival? Anything about Tim? And he's like, that's one of, if not the best ska festivals is happening. Tim is amazing. You guys have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that
Tim
was,
just
you
told
know,
us the same exact story on our last interview. So
who did?
Oh yeah.
Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that transitions into my first question actually.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, related to that whole phone call, I think Tim described it as a leap of faith for you guys to come to Supernova. He's so happy to have you. Um, and so he was telling us that it was because he'd heard of your reunion show in Santa Cruz that happened at the end of August. Now, I know you've had quite a few reunions over the years, but what were the circumstances exactly that brought you together in Santa Cruz for doing your first show in 6 years?
Yes. I think it was the opportunity to play a free show outdoors that all our, all the children in our life could attend and anyone could attend. It was like too good to pass up because we get pretty neurotic about shows, especially around our hometown. I think we're always worried that if we do one that doesn't feel right, we're just done. That's it. Like, ew. And that so far in like 23 years, we've never played a reunion show that felt gross, but we're always worried that we're going to. But this one came along and it was like, fuck, it's been 6 years, like you said. This ticks all the boxes. Anyone can come to this show. It's our hometown. It's for Streetlight Records, the record store that has been in downtown Santa Cruz since I think 2000 or something. And so it was a bullseye, and the serendipity of that leading to the Supernova show is just lovely. Did I forget anything?
No,
Maybe the
No.
I think
birthday.
that's it. I feel like the fact that we had that other show made it a lot quicker of a yes to reply back to Tim and just be like, yeah, well,
Yeah.
we can do this. Weirdly, we can do this
Yeah.
right now.
I think,
And you know, and that's, go ahead, Phil.
you talked about, so Saturday night, AJ and I went to Jeff Rosenstock, and we went with our buddy Patrick, and AJ and Patrick play in another band called C Night. But Patrick and Peter, who's not here, is almost here. They both have a birthday on the same day. And it was really Patrick that said to Peter, "Hey, I'm having a big birthday party. Why don't we have it together? And I really want Slow Gherkin to play this birthday party this summer." And I think Peter saying yes to that and kind of opening up our hearts to be like, "Hey, let's do a show." That's what opened us up to make it so easy to say yes to the Santa Cruz show, which was another gamble because we had never been to the Santa Cruz show. That like we had never been to the Midtown Block Party. No one in the band, right? We didn't know what it was like or the vibe or anything, and but we went for it. And then that and the success there was like, wow, that made it really easy to say yes to Tim, or kind of the build up to it, right? Because we said yes before the show happened. But so it was really like this cascading effect, and it sort of it's still going. Like saying yes to Supernova, right? It gave us an even stronger foundation to be like, what else can we say yes to? Is how I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys been playing together even when you weren't doing shows? The show at Supernova, it seemed like you guys were still almost playing together on a nightly basis. Your set seemed almost perfect and so comfortable. Do you guys continue to play or practice, or did you just pick up your instruments a month before and say, let's do this?
A month.
For some of us, a couple of days.
Fair. 2 days before.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, we get Achilles lives what, like 4 hours from Santa Cruz. I'm in LA, Peter's in Portland, so we really, when stuff like this comes up, we get together a day or two before and bash everything out in our drummer's studio, and that's all we got, you know?
There's something to
So,
be said for playing songs 1,000 times. It's
yes.
easy to fall back in line.
Yeah, it's deep in there in the old brain for sure.
Yeah.
Although
And you
I
know,
don't know
Gherkin's
if
about the vibe too. So
tell me this we haven't actually talked about this as a group of Gherkins, but I felt like when we got together, well, so for Supernova, you know, that was show 3 of the summer. So that's more practice than we would normally have because yeah, it was just cramming before a few shows before that. But still, that's, you know, a couple shows in the pocket for the summer. But I felt like when we got together for the PD's birthday party, something felt different in the practice. Like it was just gelling a little bit easier and faster than before. And I don't know like what that was. I think maybe like, you know, it had been long enough and we're, you know, more pro now. So people did their homework and practiced. You know, I don't know, but when we got together, it just gelled pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know, you guys all felt that, but I was like, I was like, oh, that practice sounded really good. Something's gonna get fucked up at this party. Like, you know, when
And it
it's like,
did.
well, did it?
I
I
mean,
don't
just
know.
we started that show with Get Some More, and yeah, I went into it feeling like we got this. We're smart. I'm warmed up. I know what to do. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, blah blah blah, and I completely fucked up the top of the set. I just hosed, like my fingers just froze, and
isn't that part of the magic though? Like I was
it is.
talking with my son about this today, and you know, one of the cool things about playing live in this band as opposed to a lot of others and like in jazz, where you don't really know what's going on, what's going to happen. Like you can know all the parts and have it all down, but you know that in the live show, just something's going to go crazy. I like that, like spur of the moment, intimate, spontaneous Gherkin feel.
I will definitely
Yeah.
take that over polish any day. And I think that's
Oh
one
yeah.
of many legacies of Skank and Pickle. I remember when they put out their live album, it's like people say we could be tighter, but we say we'd rather go crazy on stage. That made a huge impression on me. It was like, yes, if that's the choice, we'll take the chaos on stage.
We kind of like the same thing here. We don't want like a scripted, boring podcast. We like to be fun and chaotic, and I think that's why we're all here together.
You know,
Yes.
to Eric's point earlier, his question of like, is it because you guys were just so, you know, it's not because of our extreme technique or chops, right? Like none of us are that kind of like, that's what we do, is like accomplished musicians playing ska all the time. Like some of the bands we saw at Supernova, like incredible, incredible the way they played music, right?
Mhm.
Such a high
Mhm.
level. And so it really supports we've always been kind of a bang it all together band. But I think for me, it really harks back to what AJ was saying. Like we get in the studio together and there's just this different vibe. And, you know, in the past, sometimes with our band, you know, there'd be some thick tension in the studio. And we just didn't have that tension to cut through before we nailed it together, right? We went straight to it, the deep connection. So things are different. And is that because it's been 30 years or more? Maybe. Or other stuff, you know? So it's just a lot easier to say yes. And that translated right to the studio.
So are you
Yeah.
disappointed that it's over now, or maybe are you thinking about doing more?
We are I like there's an aspect of the like a Gherkin reunion or a Gherkin show, you know, where it feels like it takes it takes a lot like mentally to get back to that space, you know? And so like I think there's in a way there's like some relief after that a big endeavor like that. But I will say like you know, we can't really talk about it, but we're not putting it down in the same way that we have for the you know, that last break was a long time. And I think all of us are like, again, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but feeling invigorated and not exhausted after that endeavor. And, you know, it's like, well, that was really fun. And we have such a good time together as a unit. But then I think that was like, you know, a mix of some amazing Santa Cruz shows and then getting to see that festival that you're like, oh my God, that's like, first of all, it's miraculous that people would still be like, wait, Slow Gherkin is like playing and we want to see this, you know, but just to experience that, like we got that when we were touring early, but then towards the end of our touring life, the crowds were starting to cool down. So to feel this like energy in a crowd of skankers, it was really powerful. And I think that fueled the fire for us a bit, which, you know, like we have other endeavors and we, you know, invest that energy in other places. But I think we're all a little ska curious right now.
Yeah, definitely ska curious. And we did not pregame at all about which stuff we should talk about in this interview, but we're having various conversations on how we can keep these good vibes going.
Well, if you're ever
Keep a toe
looking
in
for,
even as we navigate our lives.
remember, we know all the best ska festivals, so just, you know, let us know if you're looking for one.
I mean, I knew of Supernova and I just recently learned that Ska Brewing has a festival. But those are the only two I know about.
Oh, this is not Croydon Fest is like the best.
Which
Well,
one?
it's not Supernova, but this is not Croydon Fest. It is it's a brewery festival, but it's a club show because it's indoors and it's just amazing. Same sort of
Where is
vibe
that?
on a much smaller level. It's in Bensalem, right outside of Philadelphia.
Oh,
And
okay.
a lot of the people that we hook up with at Supernova go there as well, and vice versa. That's in my backyard, so I'm lucky. Not my
Okay.
literal backyard, but you know.
So being
Yeah.
that you said you'd never heard of Supernova before, and they were like, you basically were told, hey, this is a big ska fest. What were your impressions? Like your expectations of showing up and then you get on the grounds? Like what were your initial your thoughts or even your thoughts of the time that you spent there?
I was pretty let down. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it was awesome.
But no
It's
one ever.
crazy to have such a good vibe of people. Like everybody's so just into it and positive.
Were you there for the whole
Yeah,
weekend, or you came in Saturday?
I had to leave
Or no,
Sunday
Friday. You
because
guys played
I had a
Friday.
kid with school and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a great, amazing time. An insane location. Just jump in the Atlantic Ocean and go play some ska.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
good.
that was rad. And yeah, like we were saying earlier, the range of sounds and the generations represented there. you know, from first wave all up to us. And I guess I'll just add to what AJ was saying. Like, yeah, I worried too, like, oh, fuck, wait, were we supposed to just like only play our ska stuff? Can we play anything off Run Screaming? I was worried that some like stagehand was going to run up to me and be like, oh, by the way, let me see that set list. Uh, which actually happened to us once in Japan. We got to Japan and played a show in Tokyo. Great, lots of fun. And then we had another show in Tokyo that night in like at like 3 a.m. or something for at an all-night club. And on our way across town, the driver was like, a driver who is a friend and didn't speak a lot of English, was basically like, no distortion next show. No. Ska.
Oh,
Yes.
Scott.
Distortion. No. We're like, what the fuck? And we like, do we need to throw down in a language nobody understands? Do we need to like put our foot down? But it turned out we were just too tired and we completely improvised ironing out our entire set so it was all ska, no ska punk on the fly.
I completely forgot about that. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
good.
we were like hallucinating. We were so tired. I think we'd arrived that morning and we practiced in the afternoon. Our manager was so tired he fell asleep on his feet and just collapsed like a tree in the corner of the room. And then we played two shows and we were in no position to uh, assert ourselves on anything.
So you had definitely a time change and you're playing at 3 in the morning.
3 in the morning,
Yeah, they
yeah.
have these clubs for kids who miss the last train out of central Tokyo, which is a great idea, but it just like kept the bands and the DJs going all night long, and we were like in the dead of the night, and we were so out of it. And then this curveball of like you can't. Basically, I had to put my guitar down completely because all I do on guitar in this band is the distortion parts. Like, all right, let's give this a try.
I bring up another point that like an observation from Supernova, showing up and the vibe of that place. So we haven't played festival show like as Slow Gherkin in a long time. And you know, some of the last we did, it really felt like hyper marketed, you know, so like it would be, you know, there was at Supernova there was, you know, a monster tent and there was, you know, some like local you know, punk stuff, ska punk stuff, but it wasn't Supernova brought to you by Monster and Van Shoes. It was just Supernova. And I felt like, you know, that it's such a minor thing, but it just kind of makes it feel like more DIY, right? And it's like, and then you hear about the way that it's shaped up and going since 2014, and every year gets a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. You talk to all of the people, they're like, oh yeah, we've been volunteering, but we've been doing it for like 5 years, 6 years, because we love Tim, he's rad, we love the festival. You know, it's like the feel of that is not like something we've encountered a lot, where it just felt like it was pretty big and well flowing, but it wasn't just a corporate, you know, festival at this point. It still felt like, you know, those 3,500 people or whatever were, it's just all built from the ground up. So that's something that we noticed, I think, that made it feel a little bit more unique and special, you know, from other festivals that we've seen.
Yeah.
I think from going to Supernova a few times, like I feel like it's the one festival that could have their headliners and other bands start canceling out and people are like, it's okay. Like
Yeah.
someone else is going in this. We're just happy that we get together, we get to be together, we get to hear some amazing bands and it's worth it to us. I think it's very much a community thing also.
Yes.
How many
Yeah.
years have you guys been going there?
Oh,
My
this is
Supernova.
first
only
year
my
was
second
23.
personally. Yeah.
23?
Yeah.
And this was
You've
Oh,
my
been going
wow.
for
second.
23 years, Jess?
Well, I didn't go last year because I went out to see No Effects in California instead.
How do you guys feel like that's the show's progressed and how this one measures up?
I think they were both really good big years, to be honest with you. I only went 2 times, so
They
and
always end up with amazing bands, even the
yeah.
years I've seen the lineups that I can't be there at. And the genius that they put together to just mesh up different, if you want to call them waves or different, ska and reggae from all over the place. There's an appreciation for that. Like there's so many bands that, out of the 30 bands, I'm like, I haven't heard these guys before or this band before. And you get the chance to experience something new. And you get to make friends from literally all over the world, and then you come back together a year later and like, oh look, it's so and so, and it's like you've been friends for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
What I've started doing is with festivals and with Supernova this year is the bands that I wasn't familiar with. I used to do what would be like kind of like cramming for a test. I'd be like, oh my God, I don't know this band. So I'm going to, Spotify exists and I'm going to go home and listen to this band and get
Yeah.
to know their music. And I'm like, and this year I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. It's going to be like, 1992 to me again. And I'm going to show up at a show and there's going to be bands I don't know. And I'm going to hear them for the first time and love them. So,
Oh,
that's
let
Was
me.
Slow Gherkin one of those for you,
I
Eric?
wasn't gonna say that, but you guys were
They
one of
were.
those. I had not heard you guys before, and
Oh,
I listened to a couple songs. I'm like, I'm not gonna cram. I'm gonna go experience them, and for what it's worth, experiencing you guys for that time period made me a fan of you guys. It was definitely like I listened. As like, oh my God, I need more of this in my life.
radical.
And I think we lose some of that in today's world of, very easy streaming. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
old. So, when I first started getting music in, late 80s, early 90s, like you couldn't just go to Spotify or Bandcamp and listen to stuff for free. Either A, you had to spend 15, 20 bucks and
Yeah,
hope the rest of it is good. Or B, you went to a show and you started to discover new bands and bought stuff at their merch table. And
that's right.
kind of that explorer side of things, I think gets lost a little bit in today's world. And I'll get off my soapbox now and let you guys go on, but just
Well,
Yeah.
sense.
Let's see.
it's kind of funny because like my experiences are almost counter to yours, fellow Eric.
Really, you got to counter me?
No, my experiences are like this is my second year going to Supernova, and I had been kind of lightly tuned into ska over the years. As a matter of fact, I think I mentioned to you guys when talking to you that I went to Asian Man 15, Asian Man 20, and I know
Oh,
I saw you guys there. Um, there's not a whole lot I remember except the show is absolutely manic, and that was kind of one of the things I liked about you guys the most. I mean, I had your music had been part of my collection over time, but I had a very small, focused kind of collection, which is kind of curated by a buddy of mine who was kind of keeping my brain on ska. But
mm,
I did exactly as you've been doing, Eric, like not just for Supernova, but for every show I've been to over the past year that I've been kind of focused on ska. I've been like studying, um, going on streaming and kind of taking it all in. And for me, Supernova is just another. It's a discovery process for me. Um, Last year's Supernova, um, like I've been pretty focused on third wave throughout my history, but last year's Supernova, I was watching like Roy Ellis
easy.
and the Selector,
Oh,
and I did not know their music before that, but I knew I was listening to something special at the time.
hell yeah.
And so Supernova has just been like this all-encompassing educational experience for me. I'm
How
what
was
I
that
call
opposite
myself
of my
a
story? That almost sounds like my story.
In a
well,
weird way. Yes.
Yeah. Eh,
Just
Thank you.
circle
Similar but
around.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Must be
Yeah.
an Eric
similar
thing.
but
So
different.
let me ask you this, to each of you guys, what were your greatest discoveries at Supernova this year?
Well,
Bands that you
Eric,
saw,
Eric,
like,
Eric, Eric one already said it was Slow Gherkin, man.
I really, you
Yeah.
guys were one of those, honestly, for me. So
So
that's
not
awesome. Thank you.
I can't
not
say
a
I
lie.
really discovered anybody at Supernova because I listen to so much ska for what I do, and I check them all out before.
Well,
Mm.
make me
Um,
sound unprofessional. Thanks, Jeff.
that's all I do. Like ska is my life. Um,
Well, I guess for me, like this year's contrasted to last. Um, I last year I kind of showed up as kind of a stranger, not really knowing much about the scene, and then this year there were bands that I had been like communicating with over the past year. Podcasters that I
Hmm.
met for the first time, and I guess like a really good example is like the Abrupters.
Mm.
I had some good communications with them, um, label mates, Asian Man Records, and
Hmm.
had a fun time making that connection. They'd fly back and record at District Recording.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where they made their actually I think that's where they made all their albums, and just kind of discovering those connections and kind of like just becoming friends with other ska fans and bands in the scene. That was kind of my big takeaway, my big aha from Supernova this year.
Nice.
I would
how
throw the
about
Doom
you all?
Stompers in there.
Oh, the
Doom
Doom
Stompers.
Stompers. I saw
Oh,
them like that was like my fourth time seeing them
yeah,
live.
but not mine. Like,
Oh, true.
and they were phenomenal. Will probably be one of the next big
Yeah,
ska bands.
they're
Yeah, I was
making it.
impressed
This
with
is
them.
like their fifth or sixth, maybe seventh show, and they're just amazing.
Oh, they're spanking new.
They're
Yeah,
spanking new. They just started.
they have one song
They
out.
started writing their songs, I think, in April of this year around This Is Not Gruden Fest.
I
So
think they
we're
just
talking like
released a 7-inch or something like that, right?
they're going to. They're about to be. Yeah.
Mm.
Was there any
Yes.
bands you guys discovered? Anything you guys saw that you had not seen before or heard before?
The Atlantic Ocean. That's cool.
Fair. That's a good discovery.
Scatlantic Ocean, you mean?
Ooh,
Well played.
I loved Stop the Presses. That was a
so
really
good.
pleasant surprise. Just they did a lot of covers, and I can't remember which one caught my ear, but they did Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes, but ska. And then they did Rebel Girl,
Yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
ska. In fact, I bought a friendship bracelet from them that says Rebel Girl. It's right here.
Oh, very nice.
There we go.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I was just, the concept of a Brooklyn ska band was so strange to me that I had to go talk to them. But because I lived in New York throughout the aughts and half of the teens, and I just was not aware of any, ska bands in that sort of hipster mecca. But there they are. Did you have any, AJ?
Well, no, I missed out on a Saturday.
Oh, that's right. AJ had to jump on another tour the day after our show.
Honestly, my brain was a little scrambled for sure. Friday, and we like kind of by the time we got there and got settled and checked in, we got to hang out with the Abrupters a little bit, who are our buddies, and but it was a bit of a whirlwind. So I missed out on that Saturday to check in with other people. But what was the name of the? Now it's not coming to me. The like hometown heroes who are backing multiple reggae legends. The house that we
Oh,
practiced at.
Eastern Standard
Yeah,
Time.
Eastern
No,
Standard.
not Eastern Standard Time. They were rad too, and I mean
Oh,
amazing. And I talked with them backstage a bit about what it's like to back up a legend with very little practice. But they're a local Hampton band. It was like Lions Bridge. You know,
Oh,
we'll
Lion,
Lions
yes.
Bridge and the Cables, maybe.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that was
they
it.
They
played with the
played together, but
Cables.
Lions
Yeah.
Bridge was the
Yeah,
backup band.
Okay.
Okay.
Lions Bridge. You know, like those guys were so cool. And so generous. And I mean, it was something Tim hooked up where we just, you know, squirreled away a couple hours and went and played in their home and in their practice studio. And they were just so like chill and cool. And then, you know, they're backing up, you know, a couple legendary performers. I think both Friday and Saturday night. You know, it was I didn't get to see the Cables. I think that was Saturday, but you know, just meeting those people and being like, oh, okay, like how is it that everybody in this scene is so nice and so welcoming and, you know, generous? So yeah.
Yeah.
So they are planning next year's Supernova right now. If there was going to be a reunion set that would make you get on a plane or get in your cars and drive to Virginia next year, what would that set be? Who would be your dream band to come and do a set next year?
Oh,
The Beatles.
that's
I
a
would be
tough
there for
one.
sure.
Fair, but
Man.
Well, we got to play one of the last. I think maybe the last time we got together was for a like Gherkin Siren 6 thing, right? Was that the last thing that we did?
No, that was the year before. That was 2018. But we
Okay,
did 2 shows with Siren 6, who are our
yeah,
brothers and sister from
yeah,
first touring days.
dear friends. You know, so I think that it would be in that sort of vein of somebody that we adore from, you know, well, it's like I'm saying from a long time ago, but we stopped being a band a long time ago. So it's going to be someone from the late 90s that, you know, we adored touring with.
Yeah.
We had a, you know, really fun tours with so many people, but RX Bandits, you know, like I think maybe they're pushing the boundary of what Supernova would be about as far as ska, you know, at this point. But um, yeah, I'm trying to think of who else. You know, so much of the like when we are on tour with a band, so much of it is about just sort of the hang. You know, like the hang is paramount, and of course, it makes a difference if like every night you get inspired listening to their music. But we just have so many like dear friends in the world that I just love to see, you know, more of them.
Yeah. And what about legends like, let's see, has Rhoda Dakar done Supernova?
I don't think so.
no.
Oh, that would be a good one because she's still releasing music. I don't know if the Body Snatchers ever reformed, but that would be like the all-time get for Supernova in my book.
I would concur. That would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah. There he is.
Hello.
What about you, Peter? What do you think?
I was on a Google Meet link. They tricked me. Google did.
Oh,
Interesting.
how's it? Peter, if you could go to Supernova next year and see any ska band, you know, past or present, like if you could make a reunion happen with any ska band and go see it, what would it be?
I mean, I got to go with Hot Ivy.
Oh, that's been the dream of every
Yeah.
year. Everyone's like, "Ooh, maybe it'll be up Ivy." Or
That would be a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I do know when we asked him in his interview last week who his bucket list band was, he told us he couldn't tell us because it might happen this year. And I was like, well,
Oh,
pretty cool.
Okay.
so, does anyone think Up Ivy will ever have a reunion show? That's the real question.
Probably not.
if it hasn't happened yet, there's been so much groundswell.
Yeah.
What would it take? You know?
Yeah.
I think there's been enough.
Whatever happened with Doom Regulator, like their new thing, remember? They put out one song like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, forgot
it
about
is a
that.
good song.
Was it the full band?
It was
Yeah.
definitely Tim and Jesse.
It
Who
was
else
Tim
was
and
it?
Jesse with other people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder who the holdout is because we played a reunion show headlined by Schlong.
Right.
It's the drummer of Op Ivy, Dave Mello, and his brother Pat, and another guy, and it's just like the most hilarious, goofy, all over the place.
Hmm.
It's kind of crust punk. It's like Mr. Bungle crust punk or something. They're absolutely brilliant, and Dave Mello is just the wackiest drummer around. Do you think he's the holdout, Pedro?
I like the idea that he's a holdout, James.
Yeah. He's like, you cannot pay me enough.
Always the drummers, right? I'm the
Yeah.
mom of drummers, so I can say that.
Mm.
You know,
Isn't your
actually,
son
Ready Men. That would be an awesome one.
Ready,
Those guys
man.
were one of my
Oh, the
favorites.
Ready Men, they were supposed to play This Is Not Croydon Fest this past year.
Oh, you hit a hot button with
I
Jess
was,
now.
you hit a really hot moment. They're one of
Oh,
my
Yeah, you
favorites.
did.
They're
She
so
made
good.
prom with them.
JP's just one of my favorite people I've
They
ever
were
toured with.
announced, and I don't remember their names. The two brothers. They one of their family members got ill and they couldn't do it. They had to drop. I was so excited for that set.
man.
And now I don't know if it will happen, but I'm hoping it will happen. So the guy who runs This Is Not Croydon Fest also owns Jumpstart Records and released their Restless album on vinyl. So they have like a relationship of some sort, and he made it happen, and then they had to drop.
Well, if they were up for it, then surely
It could
the
happen,
opportunity
yeah.
will arise
And I
again.
think if it does happen, it's going to be This Is Not Croydon Fest.
Yeah,
That wonderful festival I told you about earlier. That's
in
where
your
it'll be.
backyard, your
Yeah,
I
literal
mean,
exactly.
backyard.
you keep saying the word, Jess, but I can't. I haven't discerned what it is. What is it? Is
It's
it
a
just
ska
the
festival at a brewery.
no? But what is it?
Croydon.
Snack
It's a
Corden?
city.
This is not
Croydon is a
Croydon
city.
Fest. It's a
Ska
town.
Croydon.
Oh, Croydon.
So
Yeah, Croydon.
this
But there's an. Are you
not
just saying
Croydon
Ska
Fest.
Croydon?
No,
No, this
This
is not
is
Croydon.
this is not Croydon Fest.
So it
And the
doesn't
reason it's
take
called
place in
that,
Croydon.
it used to take place in Croydon and it moved. It used to be called This Is Croydon Fest.
This is not
And it
Croydon.
moved, so now it is This Is Not Croydon Fest. Yeah.
Oh.
Age,
Really
I think you
original.
got something in your ears. Maybe you can't hear because you got these two things in your ears. Hey, did anybody
Peter.
say the Body Snatchers?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what I said.
Awesome, James. Yeah, I
Or
think
at
that'd
least
be
Rhoda.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I mean, maybe she has done it because she did the In Defense of Ska podcast, so I'm pretty sure she's putting out music these days.
Who was it that said the Ready Men? AJ?
Achilles.
Oh,
That was
Achilles.
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're my
You just
friend.
made
I
a new
have
best friend.
all of their releases.
God, they're so good.
And the Goose, the guy that roadied with them, just was from my little circle of crusty punk rockers too, growing up.
Goose. Classic roadie name.
Connections.
I never saw them live, so I was really, really disappointed that I was going to, and then I couldn't.
If it was Blue Meanies, Mephistopheles, Johnny Sacco.
Oh,
I'm just gonna go with those three. Those three. Let's
very
do those
strong.
three.
Sacco.
Are Mephistopheles playing? Have they been doing any stuff?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
played
they're
on This Is
still
Not Croydon Fest last year.
pretty
Not
consistent.
this year, the year before. No, this year, right?
They
Yeah.
weren't here this year.
You sure?
Mephistopheles?
Yes,
They
No,
were.
last year.
I promise you, just
Yeah, they were.
they weren't
Oh.
there.
Oh, then last year, then okay.
So they're still
Yeah,
playing.
they were
All right.
They still
Supernova
play,
last
yeah.
year.
They just
Excellent.
played a festival here in Pennsylvania over the summer.
Cool.
Right.
They've been touring consistently though. Still,
Well, they
Yeah, I did Apple Stomp with them.
this year did they do Croydon?
pretty sure I talked about that.
Were they at Croydon this year?
No, punk rock bowling.
Oh no, they didn't do punk rock. Bowling.
I talked to him. somewhere.
Either way, they're still playing.
Anyway,
They're still
Okay.
playing.
yes, they
Still
still
going.
play.
Right on.
Wait, speaking of the Ready Men though, are they still based in Oregon?
Yes.
Oh, so I could just
I believe so.
I could
I
just
could be
drive down the
wrong.
road and get them.
Go get them and bring them here, please.
I'll do it.
Join them.
Just
Like
blast show hall bound out of your car and
Yeah.
see what happens.
Perfect. Is that where did we play there, James?
No, isn't that the name of one of their songs?
Oh,
Yeah, that's
It
the
is.
album,
It
right?
is.
That's the
Oh, is
okay.
it the album
Yeah, we
name? Yeah.
did. They played with
And
us at Palookaville. They were on Kingpin, the Siren Six label,
right.
so I think they connected us.
But we're also, Peter, you're asking about, we play the show hall in Eugene.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That's I thought you had just were pulling some memory out of that show, but I don't think we played with them there. So
No, but that's their one of their albums, right? Show hall bound.
Show Hall Bound.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
there you go.
There's a fun post for you all in the chat from when they were announced. That was like the happiest day ever. Anyway,
It'll happen again.
It'll
it will
happen.
happen again.
Are you
Gotta
still
And
trauma
believe.
dumping now, Jess? Is that
I
what's
am.
going on?
I'm hoping that it's happening this year.
Look
and
what you have
doesn't
done to
tell
her.
me because he knows if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be really upset.
If I click on that link, is it gonna like play music and
No, it just goes to
Rick
Instagram,
Ashley.
the announcement. I don't think it plays music. It doesn't play music for me.
Hey, Sky Angel Eric.
Yes, sir.
I feel like maybe you wanted to ask them or get into some of their songs with them.
Yeah, it is probably about time we transition to a little music talk.
That was an
So
abrupt transition. Sorry, guys.
yeah.
That's why I edit.
All right.
All
Are
right.
you
So
editing me out now, Jess? Is that what you're saying? Really?
She will.
Time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I've come to learn that like the main albums that you guys put out there, Shed Some Skin and Run Screaming, they seem to have like a thematic connection to kind of where you guys were in your lives at the time. Wonder if you could kind of elaborate on those themes for our listeners.
Well, Laura Skangles Wilder. Let's not forget Double Happiness, the first one, which we put out when we were teenagers. And
Yeah, it was my understanding that was kind of a teenagery,
yeah,
sort of.
I'm not saying it's a all-time great album, but it is, it's part of our story, part of our arc in that that's a very frenetic, wacky album. It's like 18 songs. It's all over the place. We just wanted to put out everything we had and like go. And then Asian Man picked it up and we suddenly thought like, oh, we gotta put out a serious album. We gotta put out a real album now. We gotta really kick it up a notch. And that brings us to Shed Some Skin, where we were writing songs about aging and, like AJ and I were 20 years old and Phil and Peter and the others were not much older. But I'll let someone else take it from there.
say coming of age more than
Coming
aging?
of age.
James, do you think that when Double Happiness came out, we even knew what a real album was? I feel like for me, I hadn't really started really digging into music and like absorbing full albums as like a concept too much yet.
Hmm. I mean, we were definitely absorbing and getting obsessed with albums. For me, that goes back to like getting Appetite for Destruction in fifth grade or whatever that was.
But did you think of it as like a cohesive piece of art that you
Yeah,
might,
yeah,
did you?
because
Okay.
oh yeah, I mean, we had been into Fugazi for like, 4 or 5 years by then, and that was the model, except we just forgot that that was the model for Double Happiness.
Maybe we
Didn't
didn't think of it as something a ska band normally did.
Yeah.
didn't Rob have the umbrella concept for that album?
He, our tenor sax man at the time, Rob Pratt, produced that album, which was a point of tension within the band because we didn't know what producing an album meant. And Rob was older and just more focused, more ambitious, like, and he did have a whole vision for it. But as far as having like live tracks and tracks recorded in several studios, and I think it took us 8 months to put that album together. Is that right? Because we were very much doing it on a shoestring. Um, I don't think Rob could control all the circumstances as much as he might have wanted to. So it's still a shambolic work of made by teenagers.
So I think to answer Eric's question, though, we need to skip up to Shed Some Skin, right? And
Yes.
what was going through our lives at that time. I think the main thing was that we had been touring like crazy. Maybe even more time in the calendar year on the road than not on the road. And we had this kind of maybe anxiety about being able to write enough songs for this album that we knew we had to release on a certain date, which was what, like August of 90?
September 98, right after my birthday.
Okay. But we bumped it up. We stole an extra
Yeah,
month.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So I think that kind of feeling of urgency and anxiety and like who even are we as a band right now if this touring doesn't really work out and take us to the next level and stuff kind of permeates that album. And then, you know, it kind of stops being as fun being on the road when you're doing it like grinding like that nonstop and then spending what 6-8 hours a day in the studio practice studio
Yeah.
5 days a week. And we didn't, most of us didn't have jobs and stuff because you're touring, so it's hard to keep a steady job and then living out of folks or crashing on people's floors. I think I was actually homeless for a good 4 weeks that summer. So I think that kind of, I mean, I don't mean literally homeless, but I mean like couch surfing and going to ferals until like 5 a.m. and playing Miss Pac-Man with friends and stuff. But so that's what's behind a lot of the angst in that album.
Very odd. AJ, Phil, anything you want to add?
I think for sure we were looking at that as more of like a cohesive piece of art. We spent, Peter was getting into this, but we spent like 5 days a week. We kind of made it our jobs to do this. And that was by far like a huge change from Double Happiness. Yes, we were a working band. We were touring, but we took the time to make a cohesive piece of art. Like, for for like whatever that means at the time for us. And I think like, we were all writing songs to, it was like we'd each bring in a little gem together, but we'd sit in a group and sort of through democratic process or like the process of let's just let the best ideas sort of win out. I mean, we wrote all those songs. We created all those songs together. It was like very much, so what came out of all of that was our joint mind in a way, aside from the lyrics, which everyone kind of took their own piece. But I mean, it was one of the most collaborative and like democratic processes that I've ever been through in any band. And there was 8 of us in a room doing this, which is just a remarkable feat, like to truly have that much collaboration.
Yeah, I think
And
it was
I mean,
9
Peter,
at the time.
you're saying it, you said it much more eloquently than I am, but I think it's just like what came out, what Shed Some Skin was us all in a room, just hashing it out and just kind of being like, letting the, cream rise to the top. And, we made some heavy cuts. There was lots of, like feelings hurt throughout that process. And out of that process also came our creative, like, this is how we work together as a band. This is how we let the best ideas kind of float to the top. So it was a big learning process. So yeah, coming of age, I think as a band, we were all figuring that out together. We were sort of like sharpened our teeth on that album.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's some more words about Shed Some Skin.
I think AJ, I think you were equally as eloquent as me, if not more. And one thing to me that is just like going into something not knowing if you're going to be able to do it, and then being in the process and like, there you have to get through it and come out with an album, but just not knowing until you do it. I think that's part of what made it so exciting and kind of just more alive.
Hmm. I like that.
And
Um,
how did that differ from your experiences putting together Run Screaming?
well, so Shed Some Skin came out in fall of 1998. I'll just do our quick primer that's become a thing we always seem to say in interviews these days. 1998 began more or less with Plea for Peace tour happened in April of that year. It was Mike's first big festival tour. I'm sorry, not Plea for Peace, Ska Against Racism. So we toured for months, and then we got to Southern California and played Ska Against Racism with Less Than Jake and the Toasters, MU330, Blue Meanies, a shitload of bands. I think there were 4 stages. And it was a sea of skankers. And we're like, holy shit, this is it. It is happening. We're here. And then by 98, I'm sorry, by fall of 98, when the album came out, which we'd for that place and time like put a good amount of coin in, and the fall tours didn't do so well, even though we were touring with a legendary band. Like the numbers weren't there, so that's all the time it took for us to be like top of the wave to oh shit, this wave is crashing for everyone. And I'm sure not every ska band frames it that way, and a lot of ska bands just went right on doing their thing, regardless of what people thought. But we did see this major like backlash against ska, where it was suddenly a big joke, and that definitely informed the album we put out 4 years later after losing 3 members as soon as 1998 was over, some of us going back to school, getting to an age where we needed to make money and start building adult lives. And that brought us to 2002 and scraping together those songs on Run Screaming, which when we took a step back realized they weren't ska songs. They were the same guys, but we weren't playing the same music.
Mm-hmm.
Achilles, you haven't talked about our legacy, and you were an essential part of Run Screaming.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I don't know what I can say about it. It was always interesting to me because that was the time when I was like jumping around between a bunch of different bands and trying to juggle that. So even like trying to capture my memories of what happened during that time, I conflate which band I was thinking about when that happened. Um, but I definitely remember that, like trying to, it was so fun to record that and just the like managing, okay, I'm going to be here recording this day and then I'm going to be down in Fresno playing this show and come back up for another day of recording. But yeah, I mean, I loved it because I had left the band for a while and then coming back and being able to be part of this cool creative process was awesome.
Mm.
Hmm.
Is that enough? Is that enough, James?
That's
Mm-hmm.
You
wonderful.
did good.
Thank you.
You did really good, Achilles.
Thanks, guys.
I always
Uh,
think
I wrote
that
it down.
one difference in in the albums or the different chronology. I think all the descriptions are totally accurate. Double Happiness. I just felt like we were so young, like a bunch of kids, like, yeah, let's make an album, right? And I say that even though like, I feel like James has been making albums. Like I used to listen to James's cassette tape long before, and that vision of albums. But I don't know how for us we didn't. We just, even though we had this appreciation for the great stuff, when we were like, let's do it ourselves, it was just so throwing things at the wall. And
Mhm.
but then Shed Some Skin was so different, right? Where I feel like we had a vision, and we did our best to accomplish that vision. Like really, it was so intentional, right? And then with the shifts that came later, after three guys left, like Peter said, and like kind of the shift in the types of music, I think I just remember just being so tired. Oh, my earbuds are dying. Let's see if this, can you hear me still?
Yeah.
You guys obviously toured and quite a bit, and you told us about going overseas. Can you guys think of any stories that just what is your favorite tour story? Either the happiest moment or the most traumatic moment or the 3 a.m. moment, I guess, at this point in time. What when someone's like, how was it on the road? What is the your first memory?
Oh my. The mind tends to gravitate toward the scary nights. Because we for the entire initial 9-year run, we weren't at the level where we could afford hotels every night. Hotels were a very rare indulgence, but we just did the thing that so many bands do, which is say, "Hey, thanks a lot. We're Slow Gherkin. We need a place to stay tonight. Come talk to us at merch." And so we stayed with strangers every night, hundreds or thousands of times. And I suppose the remarkable thing is that most of those times were great, whether it was a college dorm or a parent's house, or sometimes we ended up at an actual governor's mansion in, was it New Mexico?
Yeah, Santa Fe.
Oh wow.
In Santa Fe. That was cool.
Yeah. That was amazing.
But there are also times where we're genuinely terrified, and when like guns started coming out, and we're like, oh God, we might not see the light of day. Any specific stories jumping into anyone's mind?
I have a go for it.
Oh, you go.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
You go ahead.
Mine's quick.
Okay.
On the brighter side of things, well, there's always some darkness, I guess. But so three of our guys had to fly back home. And the rest of us decided we would play a couple shows, maybe 2 or 3 shows while they were gone. They flew back home and came back later. But James was one of them. I mean, singer AJ was gone, Matt was gone, and so somehow we cobbled together a set with me, Phil, and maybe Ross singing. And I was playing guitar. I don't remember the full lineup, honestly. Maybe I was playing bass. I don't even know. But we showed up. The first show we played was in Huntsville, Alabama, and it was a little like taqueria that we had played previously, I think. So kids were fired up and expecting to see us, and we were like, oh, they're going to be so bummed because we don't have the whole band. And it was a small show, maybe, I don't know, 20, 50 people, but it was also a small venue. And it's, again, like getting on stage, having no idea what's going to happen. We didn't practice like with that reduced lineup, and just the most joyous crowd like I've almost ever seen. These kids were just so happy to see us and just understood and didn't care that it wasn't the full band. And just so like those kind of memories are what stand out to me when you're into some random little town in the middle of nowhere, nobody knows you. The kids are so appreciative just to have you coming through, and it's just that's what makes it worth it.
Nice.
I was gonna say I like I would end up finding little pen pals that I kept up with and just writing letters back and forth for, a decade or more. And and those like my favorite memories are like walking off from the band and finding a little coffee shop and sitting there and just being immersed in some different towns day-to-day life. That kind of stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback on that one, Achilles, because I feel like we, like our experiences of all these towns that we played would just be the venue that we played and then the locals that we met and stayed with. And so, we'd have this sort of like perspective of Chicago being, this club, and then we went and stayed with these people and they showed us, their favorite places to eat, their favorite places to, go swim or whatever. But that is in our brain the memory of that place. And like it's cool and like revealing to travel through those areas, on the next year through, and you're kind of like, you see a different sort of, like the bigger picture starts to take shape. So I think that's like analogous of a tour, right? You're like, you just get these little like snapshots of all these towns across America, and as like you do that more, it starts to flesh out, and you learn a little bit more about each place and get more of a feeling of this place we live in. And all across the way, I mean, granted, our portal is like people that are like-minded and like into the similar things, listening to the same kind of music, but their perspectives, what they've seen, what they know, is so vastly different across all these places, especially when in the 90s, when it was a little harder to exchange information. And then it was cool to be like, we're a part of that, like, and they have our record now, so they're listening to our songs and whatever we're trying to say at these times in our lives. So yeah, that's a, and like and going across the states now, I feel like there's this like feeling that it would be, I don't know, things are scary and weird, and they are. But then when you're in that space, that community space with like-minded people, people love each other. People just want to be together. They're embracing community. It's like inspiring and joyful, and like that's what we need to be doing is being
Yes.
in those community spaces. Yeah.
I feel like we should. Oh, go ahead, Phil.
I was just gonna.
Oh,
I mean, we're kind of echoing the same thing, but I always thought about when we were touring, like when we first started to go around the U.S. I'm not sure that I was like quote worried, but I hadn't been to that many places, certainly until we started touring more. And back then we didn't call them like red states or blue states, but you knew there was it was a whole different world out there from our little California bubble. And but one thing that I always took home from tour, the more we did, the more we confirmed. It's kind of building what AJ said. It's like, I guess I framed it as everywhere you go in America, there's always punks, and you can always find your people. And whether it was punks or skankers, it was like you discovered that whatever city it was that you had some totally false, but some stereotype about, of like, oh, I would never go to that place. There was always like this underground scene. And each time, I mean, like Peter said, Huntsville, Alabama, right? Amazing scene and great bands coming through there, like shows all the time, and just places you wouldn't really think about. And the more we went around and found all these little places, the more it impressed on me of like how, maybe we're not so different all around here. Everyone's got their little thing that felt a lot like home everywhere you go. And I'll add to that, one thing that I personally kind of loved about touring, especially, again, there were no computers or whatever. It was just like a big adventure. And I kind of love it's not like you're figuring it out as you go, but you just got to constantly figure it out, all the little stuff. And you just got to be so inventive and intuitive, and you follow your instincts and hope your street smarts are going to get you through on whatever it is, because you're driving out there, and again, a place you don't know, whether it's in this country or another country. And we just didn't have cell phones or Google or anything. And you go talk to people, and I got to sort this out. This is what I got to do. And the people are like, hey, totally, I'm going to help you out. Or maybe not, and you talk to someone else. But it was just such an adventure that I never really pictured. It's like that was part of tour, is like going out and being vulnerable and sorting it out. And great memories for me.
I feel like we should give him some sort of like wacky, crazy story though. Is it, James? Like, I feel like your memory is probably better than mine, but do you remember that show in El Paso? With, you know what I'm talking about, right?
With Turbo Negro?
Yes, yeah.
Ah, yes. Our first national tour, this was with the Siren Six. We played a record store in El Paso, and I much more recently talked to Jim Ward from Sparta, and it turned out he was like a co-owner of this record store. Yes, we got to this record store, kind of DIY space, and I'll just tell you my experience, which is that I was sitting against a wall outside. It was like dusk, and a man walked past me. I shit you not. He was very tall and skinny. He had a little Hitler mustache. He was wearing like a sort of halter top, panties, and platform heels with swastikas on them. And we exchanged eye contact. He kind of looked, he's like scowled down at me as if I were the asshole. He's like, who's that nerd? And kept walking. And I was like, did I really just see that? What is going on? And he was clearly with this band that was headlining that were all these like scary looking dudes in all like Texas tuxedos, clearly from the hinterlands of Europe. And we had to do a band vote where we're like, okay, these guys might be Nazis. We have at least one pair of swastikas on a pair of platform shoes. Like, do we just leave? But we were like 1 week into the tour. We really didn't want to miss a show. It was a big fight. One of our guys, it turned out, was about to fly home the next day. He was so upset that we would even consider sticking with the show, but we did, and we played our set, and it was fine. There were some skankers out there. And then the headliners went on. The guy with the panties and the platforms was not actually in the band, but they played this like gargling, like greased up punk rock and roll. And then at one point, the singer turned around, yanked down his pants, and stuck a lit traffic flare up
Ooh.
there. So such that it stayed put, like it was solidly in there.
Where
And he
was
just
it?
sang a song. Where?
Yeah, where is it?
In there.
I'm missing something.
Up
In
there.
I don't know if the answer to your question is in El Paso or up his butt, but
Both.
That's what I was looking for.
okay.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
In El Paso, up his butt, and he sang a song with this thing like spraying sparks. And at that point, we're kind of like, okay, these guys aren't actual Nazis; they're just scary Scandinavians, and they turned out to be Turbo Negro, a band that we crossed paths with a couple times in later years, and they're just a hilarious, I guess you would say, partly conceptual death punk band from Oslo, I believe. And they just sing these like scary, gnarly songs about pizza and stuff in bad English like I got erection. So it all worked out, but our little, 17-year-old selves were terrified at the time and really thought like, oh, so this is what touring is like. You get out of California and immediately start playing with neo-Nazi punk bands. Cool. It's just going to be green room from here on out.
I don't know how to move on from that.
Yeah, sorry, but do you have any burning
Start
questions?
sprinting, Jess.
Eric, do you have any burning questions? Eric A.
Do I have any burning questions?
Yes.
Well, we usually do segments where we talk a little bit more about lyrics. I'm a little curious about song Sal Si Puedes. Those lyrics are notably absent from the internet, so I don't know them. But as you have announced during your shows, it's about your hometown of Santa Cruz, and you do this call and response. The title of the song translates to "Get Out If You Can." So yeah, tell us a little more about the Sal Si Puedes.
I'd love to. I just don't think we have time. No. Sal Si Puedes, that's it. It translates to get it if you can. I think like most of the time when I write lyrics, they're like deeply shrouded in metaphor, and often like the protagonist is a monster or something like that. I feel like that one's pretty on the nose. You know, I will say when you find the lyrics, it's pretty on the nose. I guess if you can't, if you haven't found them, you're gonna have to do some listening. But I will point out, the sort of irony of that is I've been living in Santa Cruz my entire life, and so I think the song isn't so much about getting out of Santa Cruz. It's about growing up, and getting uh, having the people that are sort of creating structure and parameters for you, saying like it's time for you to do this, and so maybe the fact that I'm still living here in Santa Cruz, still playing music as a 48-year-old man, um, you know we've we've got adult lives happening, but we are still like pretty squarely rooted in doing stuff that we've loved to do since we've been kids. And yeah, so I maybe that's a little bit of insight about Salsa Puedes.
Age, I always thought, just from my perspective, it was like, I remember being on tour and I had brought a typewriter on tour for some reason. Turned out to be, I mean, I just thought it'd be fun, but it turned out to make a lot of noise. But I remember at one point AJ sitting down there and typing what I thought was a poem of some sorts, and they wound up being lyrics to Salsi Puedes later, or like a seed. And I remember asking about that and hearing you talk about how your stepdad, Craig, was always telling you, like, you gotta, like, I don't remember the wisdom or advice he was trying to give to you. And so my perspective was like, almost like, well, no, I don't have to do that. I'm gonna have my own path, kind of thing. Is there any truth to that?
Well, yeah, for sure. But I mean, you know, the truth of the matter is, I feel like with a lot of, a lot of my lyrics, a lot of the songs, like a lot of the art you create when you're younger, I just coming from somewhere and I haven't thought it all the way through. You know what I mean? And often it's like years later that I'm like, oh, that's what that song was about. And in this case, it's like, yeah, literally that was just sort of me transcribing a lot of those things that were happening in my life, and the way that it made me feel. But it's like it's not until later in life when you've got a little bit of life experience that you sort of, at least for my brain, those things start to land, and you kind of understand what you were feeling. Yeah. So yeah, that's, I mean,
Yeah.
What was the metaphor for "They Wanted Earth"?
Yeah, that one I'm gonna have to be a much wiser man to figure that one out, Achilles.
I would say though, like, just in Santa Cruz in general, there is this dynamic. It's like it's just such a cushy little beach town, and a lot of people do kind of get stuck there. And so there is this point at which you got to kind of figure out, are you just going to live the cushy Santa Cruz beach life, or are you going to try to make something happen? And a lot of people go through that. And maybe it's probably not just Santa Cruz, obviously, but that people call Santa Cruz the velvet rut. It's just,
Wow.
it's a nice place. And I know plenty of people. You guys never heard that term?
I haven't heard that. Like, from my perspective, Santa Cruz is like the end game that a lot of people would like to get to.
Maybe
Like
times
a
have
sweet,
changed.
nice beach town,
Yeah, maybe that's how things are now.
Sure sounds good to me.
Yeah.
On that note,
That's Philly.
yeah, Philly.
Always loved the
Oh,
Trocadero and that church that has shows in the basement.
Oh, the First Unitarian. I was just there 2 weeks ago. They're still doing shows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw Madball there 2 weeks ago.
Hell yes.
Yeah, it was fun. But thanks for coming on. I know we all got to run.
I just real quick want to I'll just I'll drop it in the chat. Eric A. Nicknames. Skangles, Laura Skangles Wilder, Eric Ska Angel.
Oh,
Oh,
I feel like the middle one's
you
gonna get
didn't
voted
forget. I love
you
it.
came
off the
through.
island.
Yeah.
Gangles.
I kind of like Skangles. It's easy. It's
Yeah.
Mr. Bo Skangles.
oh, nice.
Or Mr. Bo could be pretty nice. You know, it's obviously a derivation from Mr. Bo Skangles, but yeah.
I do like that one actually.
That's good.
Eric, you don't get to pick your own nickname. That's
No,
that's called life, right?
that's not
That's
how
the
it
way it
works.
So we should put all of these up on our Facebook page, and whatever wins.
Does that mean we
What-
all have to have nicknames, or is it just his voluntary hazing he's doing here?
But Bo's a pretty
Yes,
dope
there,
nickname.
Eric.
That's a good story behind it.
Good
Yeah.
one. Good throwback there, Jess. That was pretty good.
Yeah, voluntary hazing.
Yeah.
Short to Bo or Mr. Bo.
All right.
Or Mr. Bo.
You
No,
love it,
our
like-
bass player Brendan has about 18 nicknames, and they're all derived from Brendan, Brendino, Dino, Dean, Dean Ween, Deanie Weenie. So have fun with it. You know?
Yeah. We're gonna put those out there for our listeners to vote on. How about that?
Perfect.
Welcome to the team, other
Yeah.
Woohoo.
or should I call you Bo?
Well, really good talking to you guys.
Same,
too.
same.
Yeah,
Hope
Thanks
to
so
see
much
you
for coming
again.
in.
All right. Yeah.
Thanks,
see you
guys.
around.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Ocean wets the sand, the sun, and heats the water. Flows out of the bed, I meet his mother. Cools my burning skin and set a fire from heated discussions. My stepfather won. His words are strong enough for me. He says to get out fast. Washing wells will never make the riches come. You spend a wasting away and waste the money. So suit up, the week is coming. Front page, the summer is not ending. Headlines for all to see. Monday, I think we'll all be dancing around, parading down the street. So happy with friends around, ain't no occasions to go. Against me, my life impending. It'll catch me soon enough, I know, and take me from this life I love. I'll have to get out fast, entering the rat race that cannot be won. I'll trade my soul and time away for heaps of money. Vacations where it's sunny. Front page, the summer is not ending. Headlines for all the world to see. Monday, I think we'll all be dancing around, parading down the street. So